Person 90, so your energy manifests onto the road and you become this, it's golden dust and it kind of creates this orb, this bubble. And I see it start to become like this snow globe, like one of those snow globes that you set out at Christmas, or you collect on vacation. And all the golden dust is now forming the kind of globe on this, and I see the wooden base to the snow globe. And as your golden dust kind of settles down, which is showing me kind of this is your globe, and so I'm getting this globe kind of representing your world. And as this golden dust kind of settles, I'm getting, now it's turning into like snow, and I see all this snow around, and I'm getting this scenery of like a landscape of snow inside this snow globe, and I'm feeling like this is maybe the house you grew up in. And I see this kind of pond, and it's all frozen over, and I see you as this little girl in a red coat and a red hat and a red scarf, and you're ice skating around. And I would connect the words of kind of innocence and playfulness, but there's almost like it's a weightlessness that's attached to this girl that I'm seeing, and she's just kind of doing these figure eights, hands behind her back with red gloves on, kind of holding her hands behind her back, just skating around on this frozen ice pond. And I see it's total innocence. So I see this, you skate to a side and there's a big snowdrift, and it's like you jump out and arms extended, and you fall into this snow bank, and you're, covered in snow, and you're just totally just a child and enjoying life. And then I see you skate towards the end of the pond, and there's this kind of like wooden bridge, and I see you climb up onto the wooden bridge, and there's a boy there, and I see like this kiss, and it's very like young love, and just so innocent and beautiful, and captivating kind of would be another word. And from here I see you leave this love, and you walk off the other side of the bridge, and as soon as you kind of step down off the other side of the bridge, I get this feeling that there's this, like the weather's changing, a storm's coming, and I feel this kind of ominous tornado in the background, and I'm getting some kind of song that I don't know, but I think it's from like The Wizard of Oz. It's this like really quick paced song, and I see this kind of tornado coming in from the side of the view of this snow globe, and as soon as that comes in, and this tornado is kind of symbolizing to me something that's changing the circumstances of the situation that I'm witnessing, this childhood innocence, and this tornado is representing, and I'm piecing together with this tornado the word war. So I don't know if you lived through a war, if there was some kind of internal war or something, but something drastically changed the innocence from you being this innocent, starry-eyed kind of playful child to, in the red coat, I see the wind now blowing your red scarf off of you, and as it blows the red scarf off of you, I see you walking into this life, and I see you now changing and taking shape, and you're growing older, and now you're a young woman, and I see you almost as if you're having to go out and start this life. But it turns now where The Wizard of Oz, when it was the beginning, it was all black and white, the tornado came, and then she went into Oz and it was all color, technicolor. Yours was the reverse, where I saw everything in color and very vibrant as a child, and then this tornado kind of comes through and rips apart whatever it was that you had known, and now I see your life in this like gray cast, and so it feels very heavy, it feels very what's that word? Monotonous. It feels like you're kind of being forced to go out and take on a life and take on a personality, or not personality, but some kind of persona that's not you. And I feel like you're kind of encouraged to go out and grow up and become something that you're not. And from here, after kind of getting all this symbology, then I see you walk up to the portal, which is represented by a door frame. And as you walk up to this door frame and you step through the portal, I can already feel we're getting sucked right into the heart. I can feel there's something lacking in your heart as you move into this new life that's taken over. And as you move through this portal, you're transitioned right into the chakra pillar, right into the heart. And I see you kind of take this there's this orb that's created around you again, and I see you right in the center of this orb, and I keep seeing these layers of, like, it's almost like bubble wrap that keeps being put over your body, and I'm being pulled. I'm now, my vision of this, I'm being pushed out to like the edges of the universe. Like, it feels like there's so many protective layers that are that are happening around your heart now, and it feels like it just keeps piling on and piling on, and it's almost like there's this big protection that's put around the heart and for something. And so I see this needle, and I don't know if it's coming from the inside or if it's coming from the outside, and I see this needle keep like tempting to pop it, and finally the outer layer gets popped in. This needle kind of jams all the way through into the center to pop all these protective layers of bubble wrap around you. And in the inside, what was the woman in the gray cast that was in the inside there is now this child, again in the red coat, the red scarf, and I see this inner child that has been like blocked, this innocence, this freedom, this joy that was maybe protected in a way, that these layers were protecting or even blocking you from. It's as if you had to take on this new life, and there were all these layers that were created around that inner child of that innocence and playfulness. And so this inner child now is kind of like free, and I see you step out of the encapsulated bubble, and you step down into the earth, and there's this like wind that blows through, and we're in color again. And I see you walk up to what is a huge red shiny lacquered building. It almost looks like a big farmhouse, but in shiny red coating. And as you walk up to this, I know it's your Akashic records, and so you walk up and you walk in the door, and inside the door is as soon as you walk in, it's almost like a dollhouse, like one of those old wooden dollhouses that have the backs cut off and all the rooms you can see. And I see all these little pieces of furniture and dolls and whatever that are that are like in there, and it's almost like these hands are taking these dolls and moving them around. And I feel like I keep getting like playing house, like I feel like there was some component of you that maybe felt like you had to take on a life, and you were playing out this life that maybe wasn't the life you had wanted, or wasn't the life that you had expected. It was something that felt like a job or a duty, and you were having to play out this scenario, this situation in your life. And so I call down your higher self, and your higher self comes down in the form of an angel, and we sit at this kitchen table. And it's funny because if you've seen Toy Story, it's like I feel like there are all these kind of toys that are sitting around, a different hodgepodge of toys that are sitting around this kitchen table, and you're one of these toys, and I feel like it's me in a ethereal kind of form, and your higher self in an ethereal form. And so we sit down, and I say, what's for the greatest good for this person to know at this moment in time? And your higher self looks at me and says, it's time to stop playing. And I see then at the table, I see you now sitting at the table, and I see this book in front of you, and you open this book, and it's laying flat opened on the table. And as you open this book, the pages almost create this golden orb of light that's kind of created within the pages of this book. And it's like you get this big smile on your face, and I see this like Afghan around your shoulders, almost like you're I feel like an old Native American woman. Like I get that kind of feeling, just like the joy, and I get storyteller kind of connected to this, and your higher self is saying it's time to tell your story over and over. It's time to tell your story, to detach from whatever the played out persona was, or whatever that life was that you took on. I feel like there's some kind of masking of a underlying playfulness or an underlying innocence within you, or maybe it's something that connects back to that girl in the red scarf, ice skating on the lake. Like there's something in your story that hasn't been told, and I feel like by you reliving the story or telling the story, moving through the pages of this book, like I feel like it brings you joy. It connects you into the emotions that were blocked, or the emotions that were not able to be let out, and it feels like those protective layers kind of get to fall down, and the playfulness of that inner child gets to be released. But over and over, it's just tell your story, tell your story. And so I'm not sure, but I get some kind of underlying connection with family or the root chakra because of all the red that's coming through. And in the very beginning, when I do my process to get into this meditation, I do a grounding technique and I build this tree. And it was interesting because it was, instead of the tree roots that I usually see, it was a very traditional, I think it's a Celtic, what do they call it, like the Celtic knot, but there's this tree I can see that you see represented within, I think it's Irish drawings, where I think they call it the Celtic knot, where it's those lines that intertwine with each other to make the big tree. Like the tree that I typically see wasn't there. It was this big kind of like Celtic knot tree that was being drawn instead of my tree. And so I get that there's maybe this strong connection to this entire story that's embedded kind of within the family. And it's almost like if it's, telling the family the story, or if it's regrounding or connecting into that family component of yourself, or what could be considered the family matrix, or kind of what made you you. There's a big kind of underlying current within all of that. So with light and love.